Hey, beautiful soul. If you've been feeling like life is just an endless cycle of survival, rushing, fixing, providing, coping, I see you. In this episode, I'm inviting you to dream bigger, just a little bit. Because surviving is not where your story ends. You are allowed to thrive. You are allowed to build a life that's joyful, peaceful, and yours, even if today it feels so far away. Together, we'll explore three simple but powerful shifts you can start making right now to move from just getting by to truly living. You are stronger than you know, and today we are planting seeds for the beautiful, thriving future you deserve. Press play and let's start this next chapter together. Welcome to Single Parent Success Stories, a podcast designed to inspire single parents. Here you'll find resources from self-care to finances to parenting and everything in between. Discover what it takes to thrive. Let the stories inspire you to what is possible. Together. Wherever you are listening from, car, couch, or kitchen, you are not alone. I've been there so many times. And it is hard to be in a survival mode. You might not call it survival mode, but physically where you are, because it is true, you are now stepping into this new journey of living that you were not previously taught in school or in life. How to do this single parenting as a single person now, as opposed to being a full family unit, and how to navigate this new normal. So it is normal not to feel okay, not to feel like everything is in its place, because it takes time to get there, especially when society dictates one way of living and being. And even when we look at society's norms and how life's supposed to be, we find ourselves lost and we find like we don't fit in. We want to be like somebody else. We see on outside like this perfect family with husband and wife and kids and everybody is happy, but we only see that external picture. We don't really know what's happening inside. So it takes time to get out of survival mode, but what I want you to know that is a season. It is not a life sentence. Just like anything in life, everything has a beginning and end, and this survival mode will come to an end at some point. It is necessary in the moment, but again, it's not your final destination. It takes little things to get out of it. And it is all about reframing and how you see yourself, how you see your life from where you are now to where you want to be. Surviving may be rearranging or how you see your financial situation when you were a two-parent household to now a single-parent household, and being able to track your expenses and seeing what are ins and outs and making sure that you are understanding how to manage all that. And it is difficult. It takes time. But today I wanted to share with you those three shifts that you can make to start shifting from surviving into thriving. First one is tiny joys. Taking simple 5 minutes of joy daily. Doing that for yourself. Doesn't have to be huge. It could be very little, like, for example, like laughing or dance or walk outside or gratitude. Things like that. Sometimes we delay gratitude, or we like, oh, I'm gonna appreciate when I get something. But gratitude is about reframing your mind and noticing and paying attention to the things that are already working in your life. And oftentimes we take things for granted until they disappear. So like I took walking for granted until I dislocated my knee, and I'm totally clear and fine right now. But it has taken place in 2021, and now it's 25. It's been 4 years later, and hasn't been a day that gone by where I didn't simply say to my niece, thank you for walking. Thank you for supporting me. There are so many great things in our body that are here that allow us to thrive and live, like breathing and seeing, and the fact that I'm talking and you can hear and see me right now. All those little things are working in your body, and we just take them for granted. We don't appreciate them. The funny thing with gratitude, once you start paying attention at things that are working, you might realize that there are more things working in your life that you were previously skipping over. So that's little thing of gratitude. Dancing, walking outside can help so tremendously. It not only uh, creates shifts in your body, you taking better care of your health, your physical health, you also clearing your mind when you're outside on a walk. It also allows you to shift perspective. Have you ever noticed any time you are in a you have a problem or you have any kind of thing that you are thinking about and you can't seem to find a solution, just taking yourself out on a 5-minute walk instantly can flood your mind with fresh ideas because you change your environment, you change from where you were, you went outside, and that allows you to see better perspective. So it has so many tremendous benefits, and it doesn't have to be long. Again, 5 minutes a day of joy throughout your day. Whenever you have this little window, or seeing a smile on your child's face and appreciating that, or laughing again. We forget how to laugh. When we were kids, we laughed all the time. And studies have been done. As we age, as we become older, our ability our ability is there, but we don't necessarily practice laughing as our day-to-day. It's like a medicine, natural medicine for yourself that you can do. Laugh. Laughing at yourself when we do silly things instead of taking ourselves so seriously and making us like we gotta be perfect and we cannot misstep, we cannot make a mistake. But looking at mistakes that we think we made and laughing at them and getting a lesson out of that mistake as opposed to mistreating and judging ourselves. Second point I want to make is connection over isolation. Reach out to someone, find a community. You are not meant to do life alone. And different people find it comfortable what works for them. Some people find therapists, some people seek community of like-minded people who have been in their shoes, who walked the walk, who have been single parents once in their life and know what you are dealing with. For myself personally, therapists didn't work out, the one that I had, because I could never understand how somebody who is married, has a full family, can understand what I'm going through. And I felt worse after I has gone to that therapist, as opposed to getting any tools or any benefits. I didn't get any benefit from seeing this therapist. Um, I'm not saying therapy is bad. It works but in my personal example, it didn't work out. So check out what works for you. What I found that worked in my life, I learned this great concept, great tool that's called timeline therapy, that allows the removal of limiting beliefs and decisions and things that we make. And what makes this thing great is that it gets down to the root cause of a problem, a root cause of a negative emotion, because oftentimes when we are going after a breakup and we are getting out of it, oftentimes there is a lot of fear about changing. There is a lot of guilt associated with that and how to navigate life. And in timeline therapy, I was able to let go of all of that. I first was a student of it, and then I became a practitioner of it. And now I can help others go through that process. I'm simply a guide, guiding you along, allowing you to look at your past and let go of all those negative beliefs and decisions that are keeping you stuck. And you get a new bill of life. You get a new way of looking at your life from a different perspective. We not erase your past. We just get to see it in a different light. We get to see it as a form of what were the lessons that you are learning, positive lessons from a negative experience, and taking those lessons with you, as opposed to looking at your past and only seeing the bad stuff or what happened in the past, but taking positive lessons from there. And the third point I want to make is dreaming again. No matter how old you are, you still have a little 5-year-old with a dream inside, ready to come out and play. The dream is never going to chase you. The dream is always be waiting for you to chase that dream. No matter how silly it is and no matter what other people think about your dream, in the end of the day, you were given that dream because you can make it realize, not your family, not your relatives, not your friends. They may not even understand where you're coming from, but it is just for you. So give yourself permission to have a dream, even if it feels small or impossible right now. I want to share with you a little encouragement story of a mom who moved from surviving to thriving by starting small, by taking small morning walks in the morning. She totally shifted her perspective and unfolded her journey from surviving to thriving. Of course, it took some time because it required for that mom to wake up in the morning a little bit earlier before her kids were up. But taking that time for herself allowed her to create shifts in her life that unfolded. Because after coming from those morning walks, after clearing her mind and starting her day and seeing the sun rise over the horizon, she felt like she didn't miss anything, like she was present in her life. And coming home from those walks, she felt more refreshed, rejuvenated, and resilient. She wanted to take better care of herself. She showed up better for her kids and for herself. She felt resourceful instead of being depleted. So little things like that, because in the end of the day, it is not what you do once in a while that promotes the greatest change. It is what you do in silence. It is what you do on your day-to-day basis that nobody sees but you. Those things really move the needle. Those little things that you do on day-to-day basis determine then what kind of life you're going to have and what kind of person you will become in the end of the day. So I invite you to share with me what's one tiny shift you can make today towards a life that feels good again. Oftentimes we always know the things that we don't want, but have you actually sat down and jotted down a list of a life that you want to create? Because from the way we are being brought up, from the way we are very young, we are constantly being fed about limitations, about things we don't have, and that kind of shifts our perspective and makes us think so small. But what if you remove all that? What if you allow yourself to dream and jot down the life that you want to create, the kind of life that you would be proud of, the kind of life that makes you feel alive, the kind of life that makes you feel like you want to wake up in the morning and experience that life? Have you ever actually done that exercise for yourself? Have you actually sat down and created what it is that you want to create, what it is that you came here to do on this day and age, in this timeline? Have you ever done that for yourself? I invite you to do that. Jot down and create the life that you want to experience. And then from that life, from that list of things that you want to experience, take out one little thing and incorporate it into your daily life. And it could be nothing in the grand scheme of things, but it's the tiny little thing that can take you from where you are today, from surviving and into thriving. Allow yourself to dream again. Thank you so much for joining me today on this episode, and I want to just recap. So the 3 tiny shifts that you can make from surviving to thriving. First of all, it's practicing tiny joys, taking 5 minutes of a time for yourself and doing something that sets your soul on fire. Could be simple as laughing, dancing, taking yourself out for a walk, singing, or gratitude, appreciating what's already working in your life. Second thing is connection over isolation. You don't have to be alone. Reach out to someone, seek for help. It is okay to ask for help. Find a community of people who have been where you've been, who can see where you are and share with you the things that are working. And allow yourself to dream again. No matter how old you are, you still have a 5-year-old inside of you ready to come out, and there is a dream. Allow yourself to dream again. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next week on another episode of Single Parent Success Stories.